All right, so there's a couple things with your torch that you need to understand that I keep getting questions with my students. The biggest thing comes into the regulator. After you've hooked up your entire torch system, meaning you've attached the regulator to the tank, this is a B-size tank, okay? And you've attached your hosing system to your regulator and your hosing system to your torch handle. The first thing that you want to do is go ahead and turn your acetylene tank on. To do that, this knob up here, turning it to the left, will turn the tank on and your dials will go up. Biggest question that I have is, what do these dials mean? So the left dial here is going to show you the amount of pressure that is going through the hose into the torch system. The right dial here shows how much pressure or acetylene gas is left inside of your tank. When you go to turn your torch on and you open up this here, you will notice that this may fluctuate. Biggest thing with this is that you want to stay somewhere around 7 to 10 psi. I do not suggest going over 10. Once this is on, you can adjust this simply by backing this T-bar out to a lower setting or adjusting it to the right to get a higher setting. Once this is dialed, this may fluctuate a little bit, but what you're looking for is what is happening when the torch is on. So right now this is set at about 8, which is just fine. I usually feel that like 7 to 8 is kind of the sweet spot. And that way when you ignite the torch, you actually get a good flame. As you turn this up or down, variations will happen. To turn your tank and your torch off, simply take the valve for the B tank of acetylene and turn it to the right. This closes the tank through this gasket here and allows no more gas to be flowing into the regulator or into the torch. However, to be safe, especially if this is in your house, you should be bleeding your hose lines. To do that, make sure this is fully off, remove the torch tip from the torch handle, and simply open the valve on the torch handle to remove all of the gas through the line. What you'll notice is that both of these dials here will completely drop. When you're ready to turn your torch back on, as long as your regulator is set from the last time, you should not need to adjust this T-bar. To bring the torch tip back onto this, simply insert this into the opening, push all the way down, turn, and you're now ready to go. In the off position, this torch tip should always be on the handle. If you were to leave this off or try to ignite this without the torch tip handle, you will have a gigantic fireball. So insert, push down, spin. Once you're ready to go, turn this guy on. Still showing a good regulator pressure. With it open, I'm still reading at about 8 psi, and I'm ready to go. When checking, if you have a leak in anything, as long as the line is fully open, you can use Safe Detect or any type of soapy water. But when you set this up, you need to make sure that there are no leaks, and you should check this periodically as you use your torch. The three main areas to check are where the regulator meets the tank, where the regulator meets the hosing, and where the hosing meets the torch tip. If you are not seeing a mass of bubbles on any three of these connections, you do not have a leaking torch. If you do see it on any of them, you'll just need to use a crescent wrench and tighten those connections. So the other question that I get from a lot of my students is in regards to the torch tip sizes. So every torch that you purchase from Rio Grande is going to come standard with a 00 torch tip. That is this one right here. If you look at the hole difference between the 00 and the 0, you'll notice that this one is a bit larger. So the torch tip that comes standard with every torch purchase is going to be the smallest, most delicate one. If you're working on bezels, cuffs, larger pendants, etc., you will probably want to invest in a size 0 and perhaps a size 1 for slightly larger pieces. A size 2, which is this largest guy here, is going to be for really large pieces, really large annealing pieces for fold forming, forging, things like that. And most people probably won't need this, but when I'm doing larger commission works, I find it really helpful. It's a little less heat than a standard MAP gas torch, but it gives you quite a bit. So again, if you are purchasing a torch, you're only going to get this one. But these are all available individually for about $20 to $30 a piece, but I highly suggest you at least get a 0 and perhaps a 1.